Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. In this video we're going to be looking and playing through all three games from Duke Nukem Collection 2. Let's get started. Okay, this is Duke Nukem Collection 2, very different to the first collection. This is Time to Kill, Land of the Babes, both PlayStation 1 games, and we also have Duke Nukem Advance. This is cart number 34. Yeah, very interesting, very different to the first collection. Those PlayStation 1 games are maybe a little bit dated and a little bit janky, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. And Duke Nukem Advance is certainly one that surprises me, and it's another first person shooter on Evercade. Very welcome because we don't have enough of them. So yeah, let's check it out. Let's have a look at the box before we play through the games. There's the lovely looking cartridge, and again, just like the first collection, there's just a manual. We've missed out on getting posters and stickers. Seems like a missed opportunity to me, but anyway, enough said. Let's have a look at the manual. We've got some interesting information here about these games now. As I said, these are PlayStation versions, the first two, and they probably haven't dated all that well. Be interesting to see how they control, because obviously they will have to utilise the shoulder buttons, and again, perhaps on the Super Pocket it might be a wee bit tricky to play through, but having looked at the 3D version, it's probably not too bad at all. Some interesting stuff there about the game, the background, saving and loading. Obviously this is just saving and loading. I probably would not recommend using the saving and loading function within the actual game and just sticking to using the save states. I've seen some people experiencing some issues by using these, especially on the Duke Nukem Advance game as well. I'd maybe advise against that and just use those save states as well. So Land of the Babes is pretty similar to Time to Kill. I think the targeting is a little bit different, but they do play pretty similar style. Hard to say which one is better. I guess that might differ from person to person. Obviously there's a little bit of backstory there about the story, and yeah, I reckon that, I guess Land of the Babes is probably dated worse than Time to Kill, but anyway, it is what it is. The games definitely play a little bit like Tomb Raider, no doubt about it. I think they were actually going under the title of Duke Raider at one point. Yeah, and don't discount Duke Nukem Advance. This one is excellent. It doesn't look amazing, but it plays fantastically well. And again, it will utilise those shoulder buttons. So if you're playing on the Super Pocket, just be wary of that for that. Because sometimes, yeah, using those shoulder buttons on the Super Pocket isn't the most comfortable experience at all. But yeah, three very interesting games. Let's check them out.
Looks like it's time to kill.
And plays brilliant on the XP, brilliant in the VS, doesn't really matter. Obviously it's your personal choice and what you've chosen as your device. All I can say is they play great on all of them. Now for sure, playing Duke Nukem Advance on the Super Pocket looks absolutely fantastic. Certainly seems right at home on the size of screen here. And I would definitely recommend it. If you've got a Super Pocket, definitely worth picking up just to play through this game. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Okay guys, before we get started playing, I'll have a quick look through the three games. We've got Duke Nukem Advance, which I think is possibly my favourite game on the collection. It's certainly up there, one of my favourite games on Evercade as well. It's fantastic stuff, really is. One of those gems that we probably missed back in the day. I know I did for sure. I think it came out round about 2002, I think later in 2002, and by that point I think I'd moved on from Game Boy Advance and probably moved on to stuff like GameCube and Xbox at the time. And I think the Game Boy Advance, unfortunately, I had to give up because you just can't afford to buy games for everything that's going, especially when you don't get paid an awful lot of money. But anyway, that was that time. I remember playing Wolfenstein 3D at the time and Doom on my Game Boy Advance, and they were excellent. Sadly missed out this one, but thanks to Evercade we're getting to play this in 2023, and I'm so glad because it's absolutely excellent. Also got the PlayStation games. I think Time to Kill was the first one, and they're kind of a bit like Tomb Raider, sort of an action style Tomb Raider-y game, sort of. There's a lot going on with the controls, so certainly pay attention to that. And interestingly enough, you can play both of these two players. You can play a sort of split screen two player on the VS, which is quite interesting. I won't be looking at that in the video, but maybe in a future video I'll have a bash at it. It certainly seems quite interesting. Maybe even a kind of a first thing for Evercade. A sort of first person shooter split screen. Sounds fantastic. Land of the Babes is kind of a non-direct sequel, so to speak, of Time to Kill. It was released a couple of years after it. But anyway, guys, without further ado, I'm going to get stuck into the games and I'll give you my thoughts as we go and comments at the end. I'm going to start with Duke Nukem Advance. Okay, so Duke Nukem Advance is definitely the easiest of the three games to pick up and play, and I would probably recommend starting there. And it's a fantastic game. It might well be the best game on this collection for sure. I absolutely love playing it. I love playing it on the XP, the Super Pocket, on the VS. Didn't really matter. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's a surprisingly excellent first-person shooter, and it's still amazing that this was on the Game Boy Advance for me. And it's one of those gems that I definitely missed back in the day. I'm pretty sure most people did. And that is a shame because what a game this is. There's plenty of secrets throughout each of the levels. The levels are pretty straightforward. You might get lost here and there. Most of the levels you're really just trying to find something or destroy something on each of the levels, then move on to the next one. Lots of different variations in the enemies as well, which is really impressive. Now you change between your weapons by holding down the select button and then switching between them using L1 and R1. Don't just press the select button, nothing will happen. You need to actually hold it down to switch between the weapons. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this game so far. I think it's absolutely excellent.
Holy cow.
want some? Holy cow. That's gotta hurt. Hail to the king, baby. Damn. What a mess. Damn. Ah.
So eventually you will reach the first boss at the end of the first level, which is kind of like a spider-like creature that looks straight out of Doom for me, and it's pretty easy to defeat, although I do make this look a lot harder than it actually was. The spider just goes round in a circle in the room and you just stand in the middle, grab the rocket launcher, use your shotgun, and just dodge its rockets left and right. Pretty straightforward, but yeah, apologies, I definitely make this look a lot tougher than it actually was. But anyway, overall, I think this is a fantastic title, and it's definitely one of those gems that Evercade are good at finding, bringing to our platforms, and we just enjoy something that we probably didn't experience back in the day. It's an excellent game, and I would recommend it for whatever system you're playing it on. Probably the best game on this cartridge, arguably. It's fantastic stuff. So unsurprisingly, the music was changed for the introduction to the first part of the game there, because the original music was copyrighted, so not totally shocked there. So in the first section of the game, just familiarise yourself with the controls. R1 goes into the look mode where you can look up and down. There is some kind of automatic targeting going on, but it does get a little bit messy when there's a few enemies on screen. It really doesn't seem to work that great. So X is to jump, A is to fire your weapons, and if you hold down the B button, you can also cycle between the weapons by pressing left and right. You can also do this by pressing the select button and choosing that way, and you can obviously strafe left and right by pressing the R2 and L2 buttons as well. There's a lot going on, so definitely take your time, go through this first stage, find all the secrets, and familiarise yourself with the controls. It does play a little bit like Tomb Raider. Sort of, you can see the similarities between the two games, especially when you get to the swimming sections as well, and you use the X button to swim through the game. Now there's lots of secrets, there's lots of cheeky things going on if you interact with the sort of babes, so to speak, in the game. Definitely massively outdated, but it was appropriate for the time, I guess. I mean, was it ever really appropriate? I say that, but this was what it was like back in the day. Nobody really bothered, I guess, at that time, but now I think probably it's one of those things that you would probably raise an eyebrow and it would get completely banned and it would be completely unacceptable in today's society. But yeah, it is what it is, and this game just screams PS1 and that time period. It's very janky to play through, but once you get used to it, it's actually not bad at all, and I found myself actually quite enjoying it.
Turn out the lights and I'll show you the meaning of pain.
Suck my boomstick. How refreshing. Give me a Jack and Coke any day. Time to get things moving. All aboard!
So there's no doubt for me the first sort of stages of the game are a little bit confusing. You're kind of going through the sewers, very maze-like. I found myself going back and forth, totally lost, not sure where I was going. A map would have been helpful. However, in the first part here, you're trying to find 3 gems to activate the time portal. 2 are very easy to find, they're pretty much in plain sight. The third one, which I'm showing you here, you have to go through this swimming section to find, and it took me ages to discover it. I was really going back and forth forever, thinking there was nothing else I could do here and the game was broke. But yeah, it was really just me that was broke. So eventually, once you find this gem, you can activate the time portal and move on to the next stage. But yeah, overall I think this game is okay. Once you get used to controls, you can have some fun with it. You just need to get over the jankiness of the whole game, and obviously it is very appropriate for its time. This was typical PS1 era style game, and if you don't like this type of thing, you'll probably not enjoy this at all. But personally, I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it to a point.
To find out what these things do. Time flies when you're kicking ass. There's a new sheriff in town. Packing heat. Going down.
Okay, so Land of the Babes, and it does seem to me that the introduction music is similar to the original ROM, but apparently Blaze have done a lot of fixes to both of the sort of 3D style games. They've changed a lot of intros, updated FMVs, changed button prompts, fixed bugs, updated HUD graphics, that type of thing. So they've certainly done a lot of work to all of the Duke Nukem games. It's not really just been a straightforward chuck the ROM onto Evercade and see what happens, but they've certainly put a lot of effort into them. Anyway, the Land of the Babes does play pretty similar to Time to Kill. There is the new auto-targeting system where you hold down the L1 button, and it's massively helpful because I think in Time to Kill there would be enemies shooting at you and you would have no idea where they are. You just had to swivel about trying to find them, whereas in Land of the Babes you can just hold the L1 button and it will target the nearest enemy. Very, very helpful indeed. The actual button layout is very similar. You hold down the B button again to cycle through the weapons, and strafe left and right by pressing the L2 and R2 button. There is an added additional, I think it's called the Shades operating system, by pressing the select button. Now that will happen when you get a message flash up on the screen. Press the select button and you will get an update from, don't know, is it headquarters or some of your colleagues, I guess, that are telling you what to do, where to go, and things that are happening in the game. So that's that. But more or less, it does play the game. I've kind of felt that Land of the Babes was a little bit more linear than Time to Kill. Time to Kill, I felt as if I was, obviously, it was, you wander about maze-like levels. I got confused, wasn't sure where to go, but it's a little bit different in Land of the Babes. It's a lot more straightforward, I think. Not really sure if it's a better game at all. It does introduce a few janky things like jumping and grabbing stuff. This was this is not the way to do it, but we're supposed to jump onto the sort of pipe there and sort of go down that way. I've done it the hard way, lost a lot of health, so don't do that. But yeah, you can obviously jump onto things, grab them. There's sort of railings overhead where you need to grab onto pretty early on in the level. Very janky indeed. An absolute nightmare. I'm not sure why they would chuck this into the early part of the game, but once you get past that part, I'd say the game does improve a little bit. I'm really not sure though which game I prefer out the two.
What the? That looks pretty sturdy.
Thanks, Duke.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Oh, Duke, you're so big!
That should clear the way. No pain, no gain. Power on. Now it's time to kick some ass.
Good job, Duke. The power is restored. Now you need to find a way out of this section of the base.
I'm on it, Jane. Consider it done. I'll see you topside. Duke out.
Duke, we're making our way up to the surface and need you with us ASAP. With the elevators out, we're going to need to find another way up here.
Well, let's see what this laser can do. Another day, another dusty airman. Peekaboo, I kill you. Did I interrupt something? Never fear, baby. Duke's here. What's shaking, baby?
Duke, this area is secure.
Won't budge.
Duke, Silverback is stepping up the attack on the base. We need your help up here. You may be able to exit through the diving tank.
Sometimes this is a really crappy job. Much better.
Okay guys, so Duke Nukem Collection 2 isn't bad at all. Duke Nukem Advance is fantastic, a great little gem that we now have on Evercade. That is terrific. Land of the Babes, Time to Kill are not bad games at all. If you can get over the jankiness, the clunky controls, that type of thing, it works pretty well on the Evercade, I have to admit. Once you get used to it, I found myself enjoying it to a point. If you have nostalgia for the PlayStation 1, then you'll probably enjoy this type of thing and you'll be used to the sort of awful camera angles, the jankiness of the controls, that type of thing. If not, then you might not like this type of game at all. I think overall though, Duke Nukem Collection 2 will certainly pale in comparison to Duke Nukem Collection 1. I'm not saying that Blaze done less effort on this, but I think that Duke Nukem 1 and 2 Remastered and Duke Nukem 3D is a better collection overall, and I found myself enjoying playing those, and obviously I was smiling, loving playing them. However, playing this one, I wasn't smiling as much, more a little bit frustrated, but they're still decent games to be had. Thanks for watching, catch you again in the next one.
Oh, that sucks.